Chinese artists are just built different. Do they perhaps consume paintbrushes every day? It's possible. People say you are what you eat after all. I'm just kidding, of course. Today we're back with Xiaohongshu, aka Chinese version of Pinterest, but on steroids. Here's a tip if you want to find tutorials on Xiaohongshu but you don't understand any Mandarin. Use a Chinese keyboard and a Google Translate. For example, if you want to learn how to draw nose, type nose in Google Translate to get 鼻子, then type 怎么画 next to it. It means how to draw. And boom, you'll find many tutorials covering everything from sketching to rendering noses. Easy, right? Or you can always just wait for my videos covering Chinese art tutorials. A wink wink. Today we're focusing on skin and hair. For skin, I learned this interesting skin coloring technique from Longmao Xiansheng the... hold on. Oh, Longmao Xiansheng the 树洞, which means Mr. Totoro's tree hole. What? Wait, Totoro is Longmao in Chinese? You know this literally means dragon cat. I mean, I get the cat part, but and never mind that. Mr. Totoro's tree hole has an aesthetic art style that mainly uses dull and muted colors for the skin. They also don't draw the eyebrows, which is fine, you know. Some people like eyebrows, some people don't. Everybody has their own cup of tea. What's interesting is they use red on the upper half of the face and blue on the lower half. This is something that I have no courage to do. Mainly because I'm a huge wimp, but also I view blue as uncommon in skin painting and more of a garnish, so I always add it last. However, blue actually adds more dimension to the face. In Mr. Totoro's painting, even though the shading is done in muted colors, the face still looks interesting. It retains its volume and doesn't look flat. Let's try it out ourselves. I'm drawing Kinich. I hope I don't butcher his name. He's the new character Genshin introduced in their Natlan trailer. My first impression is he kinda looks like a Minecraft boy. I probably shouldn't have said that. But look, his design is very interesting. He has that pixel look to him. I mean, look at his pixel body. I'm using multiply layer to get deeper colors and apply it softly with an airbrush. It might look unnatural, but let's not think too much about it, shall we? Mr. Totoro uses a lot of triangles in their shading, especially around the eyes and nose. Their artwork has a tired and mysterious aesthetic. I know it sounds like I'm making fun of them, but I'm really not. There's a stigma that muted colors and adding eye bags to your character makes them look dull and tired. I used to think that as well, but I was wrong. It's very aesthetic and unique. And in the right hands, like Mr. Totoro's tree hole's hand, it looks very beautiful. I was thinking that we could do a little art style study on Mr. Totoro as well. I've been wanting to make my style a bit more semi-realistic rather than being too anime. Mr. Totoro is using a smudge tool to blend. I'm personally not a fan of smudge, but let's use it for the sake of the study. They're also using an outline brush to shade some areas, but I cannot seem to find a similar one on IB's Paint. I also looked into Procreate, but no luck. I think it's a custom brush. But if you guys manage to find similar ones, do let me know in the comments. The purpose of using the outline brush is to get that watercolor look on your painting. Because if you see watercolor paintings, they have this faint outline which is very beautiful. And if you look closely at Mr. Totoro's painting, the area around the eyes has visor-shaped shadows. This is important because many beginners only shade the eye holes, because those shadows can be seen clearly in references. They often miss the faint shadow on top of the nose bridge. So if the nose bridge looks too high or the nose seems out of place, try adding this small shadow. Mr. Totoro doesn't seem to draw thick eyeliners. I love thick eyeliners because I love anime eyes. But because I want to make it more realistic, I'll have to say bye-bye to them for a while. The middle of the eyelids is generally lighter. So to put it simply, the eye shading would look something like this. I'm gonna use dark red instead of black for the eyeliner so it doesn't look too thick, and I will use the same color for the eyelids as well. I love how Mr. Totoro draws the eyelashes. It straight up looks like K-pop idols' eyelashes. I don't normally draw upper lashes because it looks awkward every time I draw it, but I think this looks quite okay. Okay, let me see the comparison to my original art style. Holy shit, it's so different. Let me adjust the colors a little because I think it looks a little bit too light. I'm not very satisfied with how this turns out though. The tutorial itself is fine, but I don't think I'm getting it right on the first try. I wonder if the same method also works for darker skin tone, so let's try it out real quick. I discovered that using light blue with a multiply layer works best, and I think using reddish orange looks better than pink ones. I will apply the shadow in triangles like before, but I will extend it because this is the shadow direction I'm going for. Now I want to talk about faint lighting. Before it's faint shadow, now it's faint lighting. If you look closely, you'd see that these areas are a bit lighter despite being in the shadows. That's because there is something called reflective light. Let me explain using a circle. If the light source is here, the shadows should be like this, but this area would be lighter because the light is bouncing from the surface. And I'm not making this up. This is just physics. Anyway, I will apply some color on Kaya's lips using different layers so I can fix it easily, and immediately paint over the sketch with darker color. I know that Mr. Totoro doesn't use this dark of a color, but I will throw in a bit of my style for this painting. From Mr. Totoro, I also learned how to properly shade the mouth area, especially below the lips. Normally, I would just draw a little line and call it a day, but it actually shaped like this, like a bat. Shade it softly and blend the outer part so it looks natural. I still want to keep the texture, so I take care not to blend too much. From this angle, I don't quite know how to draw the upper lashes. I think it should go downwards. Yeah, I'll just skip that. However, I will never skip lower lashes. Lower lashes for life. To keep that watercolor look without an outline brush, I use flat watercolor opaque, aka the best brush ever, apply darker color according to the reference, and blend it a little bit using a smudge tool. I actually like this one more. I think I did a better job than the previous one. This method of painting skin is really fun and interesting. I feel like my art style improved a bit by studying Mr. Totoro's tree hole. For hair tutorial, we'll be learning from Chun Yuan, and in the parentheses it says 有课, which means they have class, as in they have drawing classes you can watch or purchase. I think at least.
先准备一个线稿，不知道咋画的可以看我上个。
等一下。
Okay, I'm just gonna pause and read. 先准备一个what in the world is that? 线稿. Oh, it means line art. Okay, so it says first prepare a line art. 不知道作画的可以看我上个视频. So it means that if you don't know what to draw, you can just see their video. Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to pause and read and translate each sentence because number one, my Mandarin is not very good, and number two, my Mandarin is really not very good. I have done a short version of this tutorial on my YouTube Shorts, but I will do the longer version here, and I'll actually draw it on a character later on. I will first draw the hair like in the video, and use gray as the base color, and then apply some darker color on the top half, and then shade it in a U shape and then blend it. For the next step, I don't know how I can miss it, maybe I was too tired or something, but they made a new layer and drew extra something on the hair. I did not notice that step and immediately added details, and I was like, huh, this looks kinda weird. Yeah, of course it looks weird, dum-dum, you missed a step. Hair should be considered as layers. In Chun Yuan's work, the hair overlaps like this, with shadows on the layer underneath. This emphasizes the hair on top and creates a layered effect. I don't think I did a good job in my execution, not the tutorial's fault though, sometimes I just suck. But after I fixed the shape using Liquify and added some hair strands, it looks okay I guess. One thing to note, do not draw the hair strands like this. Disgusting. Draw it like a ribbon, slowly, softly. Now I'm pretty sure a lot of you want to draw hair on a character instead of just drawing the hair. I will draw it on Kaya's painting we just did, and I know what you're thinking. Fool, what in God's name are you doing right now? Listen, Genshin characters are attractive as they are. However, I have a very strong feeling for foreheads, and I want a forehead right now. I do have some difficulties since the light source is different compared to the previous hair drawing. So I went to Chun Yuan's page on Xiaohongshu and holy goat milk, they're all masterpiece. I literally spent 20 minutes just staring at their artworks. I looked for pictures that have similar light source to mine and analyzed how Chun Yuan simplify and exaggerate the hair. Even though the artworks have different light source, the shading pretty much follows the same pattern. It's in U-shape and the hair is considered as multiple layers instead of just one, with dark shadow to emphasize the top layer. Notice how they don't paint all parts of the hair in detail, they only focus the details near the face or near the light source, while the rest of the hair is painted simply with fewer details. That sounds easy, right? Of course it does. But let's be real here. In reality, it's not that simple. I struggled how to make the hair look believable while implementing Junyuan's style of painting. And I'm sure a lot of you are struggling with painting hair as well, even with a lot of tutorials, and that's okay. I mean, hair is one of the hardest things to paint after all. And that's why learning from other artists' work is very important to see how they simplify things. For me, Junyuan's method of creating a layered effect by utilizing dark shadows really helped me in creating 3D looking hair. Mine doesn't look as good as theirs, but that's fine, you know. Don't put too much pressure on yourself and enjoy the process. I will add some highlights on the painting, but I don't think this needs that many highlights because of the painting style. Not all styles are suited for glowing or exaggerated highlights. Junyuan also apply lighter color on the bottom layer of the hair for that transparent and glowing effect. And that's pretty much it. I'll put a link in the description for Mr. Totoro's Treehole and Junyuan's account, so don't forget to check out their works. And yeah,